Hello and welcome to another Salesforce tutorial video. My name is Elijah Wendell and I will be your Salesforce administrator. And today we will be talking about the new Spring 2018 Salesforce releases. So 3 times a year Salesforce updates itself and it adds a few things each time it does that. So today what we're going to be talking about are the top 5 new items that have come out with the Spring 2018 release of Salesforce. So to begin with, we're going to be talking about personalized navigation. Then we're going to move into account and file result filters. After that, we'll talk about how the search feature in Salesforce has become updated to only show the most relevant results first. We'll talk about the account and contact hierarchy buttons that are now next to your account and contact names. And then lastly, what we're going to talk about is adjusting the number of activities that you can see on your activity timelines. So let's go ahead and get started. Up at the top, as soon as you log into Salesforce, you'll be taken to the home page. And up at the top, you'll see your tabs. Nice, neat order there. And if you'll look all the way to the right, you'll notice there's a new pencil icon. And when we hover over that icon, you'll notice it says personalize your nav bar. And when we click on that, we'll see all the tabs that are across the top here in a list order. Now what this is doing is it's giving us the option to rearrange our tabs. So if you log into Salesforce and you don't really want to see the market update tab, or if you don't really want to see the chatter tab where it's at, you can move it. So if you wanted to see it first off, you can move it up to the top. If you wanted to see tasks second to check in with what items you have to take care of that day, you can do that as well. You just move them around anywhere you'd like, and when you click save, Salesforce will rearrange your tabs up top to accommodate. So now we have our chatter first and our tasks second. Another really cool thing about the personalized navigation here is if there's an account or a contact, maybe it's a task, if there's something that you visit quite often, this little drop down arrow here now, whenever we click on it, will show us our recent records. So it'll show us the ones that we've most recently gone to. So you can see here I've visited Office Depot, 3M, and Xerox most recently, so it's showing up here. And also recent lists. So if you're asking what a list is, whenever you access the tab for an account or a contact and you see recently viewed is a list view. So it's going to show the recently viewed accounts. If we click on this drop down arrow, we see all accounts, my accounts. These are all different views. You can see it here, list view. So these are all different views. So whenever we click on that drop down arrow, we can see that I've used recently viewed accounts and all accounts the most. So that is the second cool thing about the personalized navigation that came out in 2018. The last thing I want to talk about is temporary tabs. Sometimes you're going to access a part of Salesforce that's not listed in your tabs. So if I were going to look up a specific user, so I'll look up myself, right? So as you see, whenever I click on that, I now have become a temporary tab. And you can use the drop down arrow to add that temporary tab to your nav bar. So if you are constantly going into Salesforce, you're going to your manager's page inside of Salesforce. So if you're clicking on there, you're typing in their name, you're going to their page to see what they're up to see what groups they're a part of and who's following them, all that good stuff. You can go in, type in their name, and now when it pops up as a temporary tab, which this little dot is what that means, you can go to this drop down arrow and you can have it added to the nav bar. So when we do that, now if I'll refresh here, you'll be able to see that my user, is now a tab on my personal view of Salesforce. Now I do want to emphasize that this is a very personalized look and feel. So anybody else that logs into their Salesforce, even if they are under me, they're not going to see the same because I've made changes. So this is only going to be changes that I've made that I'll see. So I will be the only one that sees chatter and tasks where they are because I moved them. And I'll be the only one to see the tab for myself here. Everyone else will see the default way of looking at the navigation bar. So the second thing we want to talk about is about account and file result filters. So when you're under accounts and you're looking for a particular account, let's say I want to search for account, the test account. Whenever I'm searching for that, it's going to bring up the results, and it says, all right, these are the accounts that have tests involved with them. But over to the left is something new. You're going to notice that there are now filters you can apply. So if you have an account like 3M or like Office Depot that has a lot of different accounts that are just all over the place, what you can do is you can narrow that down. So you can type in 3M, and then you can narrow it down by the mailing city, mailing state, who owns it. So it's very helpful, a new feature that they've brought out in 2018 to help you kind of narrow down your search results. And again, that is when you're searching for accounts or files, you can do that. So you can just, when you go in and you're searching for those, you can access your filter bar on the left there. The third new addition to Salesforce is relevant search results first. So if you notice, whenever I typed in test, the first thing that came up was test account. Next was note, then report, and report, and report. What Salesforce has done here is it's looked at my history as a user, and it says, all right, well, the majority of the time, Elijah goes to test account first. After that, he goes to the note, and then after that, he goes to the report. So that's the order that it has put it in. So there's not really anything new to see here. It's really more of functionality. Whenever you search for things inside of Salesforce, that functionality will be built in to where it's going to bring up the most relevant results first. So you can think about it like Google. Google kind of does the same thing. Whenever you search with it kind of brings up the most likely results first, and that's what Salesforce has done. The next thing we want to see is the account hierarchy button. Some of you probably have noticed there's a new button here next to your account name, and it kind of looks like a family tree almost. And when you click on that, it's going to actually bring up the family tree for that account. So let's bring up Office Depot headquarters, right? So we know that Office Depot headquarters is going to have a lot of children under it. So when we click on it, we can see here's the account we're at right now, and these are all the children for Office Depot and how they're connected. And if we were in one of these children accounts and we clicked on its hierarchy, it would be, let's go ahead and do that. It would show itself, and it would show where it's at. So it says current here, and then you see the parent is the one that's offset and the one that's above everything else. So pretty cool. You don't really have to search for how accounts are connected anymore. The same thing goes with contacts. So if we go down to Miss Tina here, we can see that they have their own button as well. And when we click on their hierarchy button, we see that Tina has a group of 3 underneath her. So she's a category merchant, and then we have underneath a senior associate merchant, a category assistant, and then a merchant. So pretty cool. For contacts and accounts, you can kind of check out who they're attached to inside of Salesforce. And then the last thing that I really want to talk about, really want to share with you, the last new addition to Salesforce for the spring 2018 release. Let's just go ahead and pull up our test account here. Is the activities. So you can choose how many activities you see. So right here, our activity center, right-hand corner of the screen here, where we log our calls, our tasks, and our events. It says past activity, and we can see how many is that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm looking at 8 activities right now. But what if I wanted to see more than just the past 8? That is the newest addition to Salesforce, and that is this drop-down area here where it says load more past activities. I can click on that, and there it is. We're at 8 right now. I can choose 15, 25, or I can choose to view all, which is actually going to take me into a new tab. So if I choose 25, let's see. It's going to think about it for a minute, and then it's going to bring up the last 25 activities that I have logged with this account. It's pretty cool stuff. Anywhere you have an activities timeline, you can choose to do this. You just need to scroll down until you see the drop down area here and then pick whichever one you need to see at that time. So those are the new additions to Salesforce for the spring 2018 release. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.